Alright, HVAC people, it's your boy WW HVAC, and I'm gonna come at you today with a reaction video. But today is gonna be a little different. If you know me, I'm big on personal development, right? And one of my mentors is Earl Nightingale. I have listened to countless of hours of Earl Nightingale, the Jim Rohns, Earl Nightingales. I have a plethora of books. I even have some Earl Nightingale books, but one of my favorite books, Man's Search for Meaning. But about 10, 12 years ago, I used to overdose myself on personal development. I mean, overdose myself, because before personal development, I had a bunch of junk in my mind, you know, because they say an empty mind becomes a dumping ground for junk. So I had to kind of like overdose myself on the personal development to kind of like get all that junk out my brain. So now it's like habit. I just built a habit of just, you know, personal development, working on myself, dignity, honor, integrity. My life habits have just changed by following people like Earl Nightingale. So I'm gonna do a reaction video. I forgot the title of it, but you know, it's like a hidden camera on HVAC techs that the news channels go, what's the name of it? In the marketplace to catch scams. So, but when we do things over and over again, you know, we build habits, whether good or bad. And something, it just stuck with me what Earl Nightingale say, the rewards of service. And I just want y'all to hear this because it just stick with me. So I want to pay a little Earl Nightingale, one of my mentors, before we go into the scam videos. Because if you watch my channel, and I know a lot of you guys look up to me, but I'm just big on, you know, giving people the, you know, the utmost customer service as far as dignity and integrity. Because we go in these people's houses, it's very easy, especially for a good technician, to deceive a homeowner. A lot of times we call them helicopters. Even a helicopter homeowner, if you're looking at this, because the different reasons that a homeowner can be watching over your shoulder. But a good technician, now keep in mind, you always want to I always act like I got a hidden camera on me anyway at all time when I go into a customer house, because first and foremost, I got the good Lord up above looking over me. The power of the universe, architect of the universe, that's first and foremost, all right? Excuse me. But like I say, we call some customer helicopters. You can have different reasons for, you know, want to look. You may just want to keep us company. That's fine. You may just be interested in what's going on. You know, that's fine. If we need something, you may want to be right there to, you know, turn something off or get a fire extinguisher. Like I say, you might just be curious, or you might just not trust the technician. And that's what I want to get into today. Because it's so very easy for a good technician. Every good technician knows this, that even though you're standing right over me, I can do something to that unit and you would never know. Something may not happen to the unit till 8 months down the road. It can be, we can be in the summertime working on a no cooling call. We can create a problem when you turn your heater on 8 months from that time. Vice versa, in the wintertime, something can go wrong with your air conditioning system. So, I mean, it's very important to try to trust your technician, but it's very hard because you do have people out there that's that will try to get over on the customer, that's not honest. And that's what we want to be. That's why I want people to try to learn from this channel. Just be very honest, because, and I just really believe this, even if instant gratification is not going to work in this industry. It may work for somebody that's going to come back and bite you. And I just truly believe if I just go the extra mile for somebody, this good customer service, you go the extra mile for somebody, you just do good. You don't even have to go the extra mile. You can be average and just do good, honest work. And even if you don't get rewarded at the time, it may be 5 years from now, 10 years from now, you don't know. Let the architect of the universe control all that. You just do your job every day and you're gonna get rewarded from it. You have to. But I don't wanna go on and on. I don't want this video to be too long, so I'm gonna get into Earl Nightingale first, because I just want y'all to know we have to change our mindset. We just gotta be honest. You know, and some people that's watching these videos, you don't have to change your mindset because you already think like this. It's already just built into your habit. But the people that may be shady, I haven't watched the video once we get into the reaction. The shady people, they need to watch this then. Or if you're thinking about being dishonest, you know, with a customer, just try to be honest, because you're going to get rewarded. You might not get it then and there. Because when I mention money on my page, I try to motivate the young people. Because they always say young people like money, 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 stuff like that. And I want to get the younger people into the trade. So that's why I like to mention money. Because I'm not flash. I don't show a lot of the things that you know that I have or me and my wife had accumulated while we're in HVAC. But HVAC is a very rewarding career. You know, I mean. And I'm gonna do videos on, you know, how much you can make, but you can be honest in making this too. You don't have to be deceiving people to make money. Just concentrate on trying to get 10-star reviews every time, and then you're gonna land on 5-star reviews. You look, I have all 5-star reviews on my page because when I go to a customer house, you know, I just wanna try to leave something of value, you know. Try to leave that equipment better than I left, or when I got there. So we're gonna get into Earl Nightingale. To be patient with me. Try to really listen to what he's saying. He's a good orator. The audio may not be perfect because I'm kind of recording over, and they recorded back in the day, probably in the 80s, early 80s, late 70s. But this Earl Nightingale, and then we'll get into the video and we'll do a reaction. All right. And y'all, thanks for watching.
One time, a group of laborers was hired to work on a farm. These people came from a very small, remote village where motor vehicles were still very scarce. They were enjoying a new experience of being transported on the back of a truck when they came to the place where they thought they were supposed to get on. Well, without giving it a thought, apparently, they simply stepped off the back of the speeding truck. Now, fortunately, they fell on a soft dirt road, not a paved highway, but even then, the results of their unconventional method of disembarking were, to say the least, surprising. They went bounding, spinning, sliding, and cartwheeling along the dusty road for quite a distance before gravity and friction, working together, finally brought them to an astounded halt. Well, none was seriously injured. In fact, by the time the terrified driver got back to them, they were laughing uproariously about the whole thing. The truck driver, in explaining the incident later, put the blame on their never having ridden in trucks before. Well, that's the obvious answer, but not the right one. The amazing circus tumbling act on a remote farm road had been caused by ignorance of a law that operates the same whether a truck, a boat, an airplane, or any moving body is involved. Sir Isaac Newton gave us the law, and it goes like this. A body in motion tends to remain in motion until acted upon by an outside force. When the workers stepped off the back of the speeding truck, they were going the same speed as the truck itself. The outside force was gravity, which pulled them down to the road, still traveling at the same speed. And, well, you get the idea. They had been hurt, confused, frightened, and turned upside down because of their ignorance of a law of physics. They might have been killed. Now, all over the world, there are millions of people who are being hurt, confused, frightened, and whose lives are turned upside down because they don't understand the principal law on which everything in the universe operates. The law of cause and effect. Mm-hmm. This law has been written thousands of times by the greatest minds the world has produced, and as a result has appeared in many forms. For our purposes, it might best be put this way. Our rewards in life will always match our service.
Always match our
It's
service.
another way of saying, as ye sow,
So shall ye reap.
And it's been written in many ways, in every language on earth. I like to think of this law in the form of a giant apothecary scale. One of the bowls is marked service, and the other is marked rewards. Now, whatever we put into the bowl marked service, the world will match in the bowl marked rewards. If any person alive is discontented with his rewards, he should examine his service. Action, reaction. As ye sow, so shall ye reap. What you put in will determine what you must get back in return. So simple, so basic, so true, and yet so misunderstood.
Basic.
If a business is not expanding to the quick and exciting tempo of the times, it must examine its contribution, its service. If a person is unhappy with his income, he must examine and reevaluate his service. Never before in the history of the world have human beings been so interdependent. It's as impossible to live without serving others as it would be to live if others were not constantly serving us. And this is good. The more closely knit this interdependence becomes, the greater will be human achievement. We all seek rewards, and we should understand that rewards come in two forms, tangible and intangible. That is, rewards include the money we earn, the home we buy, the car we drive, the clothes we wear. They also include the way we feel, our happiness, our peace of mind, our inner satisfaction, the people we meet and enjoy. But remember this, whatever it is you seek in the form of rewards, you must first earn in the form of service to others.
There you go.
All attempts to abrogate, to sidestep this law will end in failure, frustration, and if maintained long enough, ultimate demoralization. We can see this frustration on every side. We can see it in the tense, strained, and nervous faces, in the mountains of tranquilizers which are consumed every day. And we can also see it in the slack, bovine-like faces of those who have found the whole thing too complicated and simply given up, surrendered to the push and pull of circumstances. How much of this do you suppose is due to misunderstanding or ignorance of this simple and wonderful law of nature? It's my belief that a great deal can be traced to this cause. Now, do you understand this law, fully understand it intellectually and emotionally? If you do, you can chart a wonderful course through life. Just as the field worker stepped off a speeding truck, just as a child will put his fingers in the way of a closing door, just as a speeding driver discovers he's not going to make the curve, how many times have you been confounded because you acted contrary to the rules, not just the rules of man, but the rules of nature? How many times have you been in the position of the man who sat in front of the empty fireplace and said, "Give me heat, and then I'll give you some wood"? People seem to be divided into those who understand that the wood must be put in before they can expect warmth, and those who feel they should get warmth whether they put anything in or not, or who feel they should get maximum heat from too small a supply of wood. A man's discontent can be said to be represented by the distance between what he has and what he wants. Once he's achieved that which he wants, the odds are good that he'll want still more, for that's the way of people, and that's good. That's a healthy sign. Constructive discontent is what gives us our continuing upward spiral of civilization. So do this if you haven't already. Determine what it is you want. Look objectively at the place in which you now find yourself. Consider the distance separating you from your goal, and determine ways of increasing your service so you will build a bridge across it. This puts thinking and creative activity into living. It also assures us that our goals can be achieved by individual effort. A person's world can be compared to a plot of ground. It exists, it's there. It has inherent within itself an amazing potential, and it's prepared to react to man's every action. In fact, it must. Now, whatever your job happens to be, think of it for a moment as this plot of ground. Planting the plot is only the first step. We are given the plot, and that's all we should be given. It's what we do with it that will determine its degree of greatness and success. It's like the story of the preacher who was driving by a beautiful farm. The fields were cultivated and abundant, with well cared for crops. The fences, house, and barns were clean, neat, and freshly painted. A row of fine trees led from the road to the house where there were shaded lawns and flower beds. It was a beautiful sight to behold. So when the farmer working in the field got to the end of a row near the road, the preacher hailed him and said, "God has blessed you with a beautiful farm." The farmer stopped and thought a moment and replied,
Yeah.
"Yes, he has,
We should have
and I'm grateful. But you should have seen this place when he had it
all to himself.
You see, the farmer understood that he had been blessed with a fine farm, but he was also aware that it was his own love and labor which had brought it to its present state. In thinking of ways of increasing your service, read books on your specialty. Read what others have found to work well for them. But at the same time,
write this down.
think of original and creative ways of increasing your service, ways that are unique with you and the way you are. Each morning and during the day, ask yourself this question: how can I increase my service today? Knowing that my rewards in life must be in exact proportion to my service. I do this every day, and you will have started to form one of life's most valuable habits. Horace Mann wrote, "If any man seeks for greatness, let him forget greatness and ask for truth, and he'll find both." You see, you can cut away all the confusion and complications and nagging worries and vague, half-formed fears by returning to the great truth, the great laws, the great verities on which all success, all accomplishment, the whole world is built. If you're worried about your income or your future, you're concentrating on the wrong end of the scale. Look at the other end. Concern yourself only with increasing your service, with becoming great where you are, and your income and your future will take care of themselves. In William James' essay on vital reserves, he wrote, "Compared with what we ought to be, we're only half awake. Our fires are damped, our drafts are checked. We're making use of only a small part of our possible mental and physical resources." Stating the thing broadly, he went on, "The human individual thus lives usually far within his limits. He possesses powers of various sorts which he habitually fails to use. He energizes below his maximum, and he behaves below his optimum. All right, how can we correct the situation?" William James gave us the answer. He wrote, "Either some unusual stimulus fills them with emotional excitement, or some unusual idea of necessity induces them to make an extra effort of will. Excitement, ideas, and efforts, in a word, are what carry us over the dam. All right, let your goal represent the excitement. Your ideas and efforts will weigh down the service end of the scale."
All right, folks. That's my boy Earl Nightingale right there. Like I say, that's one of my mentors. When I say boy, that's just how we talk. But I hope you get something from that. This next video here, like I say, hidden cameras HVAC. I haven't watched it yet. About 22 minutes long, so bear with me. I don't know if I'm gonna stop, pause, or whatever on the reaction. But yeah, hope y'all enjoyed that. We're gonna do a reaction on this hidden cameras catch HVAC scam in action marketplace. So, but that last Earl Nightingale, you can find a lot of his stuff. Like I say, if you want to get into that kind of stuff, I highly encourage it. It helped me. I mean, it helped change my life. So, because a lot of time, this maybe in your neighborhood, in your environment, because a lot of people, especially young people, say they don't have the mentors or they don't have people showing them what to do. You don't necessarily have to have your mentor there physically with you. You can get your mentors from books and YouTube. You know, even your boy. I heard you say WW HVAC, but like I say, hey, if I'm a mentor, you can find some of my videos. Please, I got over 600 troubleshooting videos. You know, that'll help you out. But I'm down south. You gotta have like a big pot of gumbo. You gotta just find things. You know, so you won't get caught up in deceiving people. You know, just be true to who we are, be true to self, and do the right thing. You know, and our rewards in life is gonna be an exact proportion of our service. So, you know, just look at the marketplace. I'm in an area of millions of people. So if I serve, you know, a lot of people, you know, in the right way, professional way, you know, and in charge accordingly, be competitive, you know, you reap what you sow. Get in what you put out. So, but without further ado, let's get into the video, because I can go on and on about that. Let's get it.
Caught on camera. The HVAC scam in action.
Furnace can get damaged, the floors and belongings you have down there.
Insider confessions. So you were told to lie.
Yes, pretty much.
How do they get you
Told
to
to lie.
sign up?
They kept saying over and over again how much it was going to save me money.
Homes held hostage.
How do we get out of this then?
Well, you'll have to pay me $25,000.
Marketplace and Go Public join forces, drilling into the truth and fighting for answers.
Some of it involves you directly.
We are turning up the heat on home heating deals.
Like a good angle?
Rigging up hidden
GoPro.
cameras to capture a sales pitch that promises big savings,
See you.
but leaves homeowners on the hook.
Recording? Okay.
Great.
Locked into costly rental contracts for new HVAC equipment they don't really need. Joining us is our
All right,
expert, Ron
HVAC
Hunt.
people.
Good. Welcome to our test house. Ron used to work in the industry and now teaches HVAC technology. He's agreed to look at our furnace, air conditioner, and water heater. Does any of it need replacing?
Okay, here we are.
Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to have a quick look at the venting.
Ron spends the next half hour cranking up the heat,
Yes.
turning on the water, and checking out the AC.
What's the verdict, Ron? Do they need replacing?
Everything looks pretty decent. I ran the furnace, I ran it through a cycle. So a few little things, nothing major, nothing needs to be replaced.
How about the water heater? What if they say that needs replacing?
Ask why. Because I ran it through a cycle, we ran the hot water till the burner came on, the burner lights up, everything's fine.
Everything's fine. But what will we hear with our hidden cameras rolling? When this salesperson starts making his pitch.
Hi, I'm great. How are
It's a salesman. Let's do HVAC.
From across
Okay.
the country with warnings about all kinds of HVAC companies. What you sign up for is not what you're told. One of you sends this video after fending off an aggressive sales pitch,
Leave my house.
urging us to investigate.
Thank you. I'm very calm. I want you to get the out of my house. I'm here to help you. I don't need your help.
He keeps pushing a heat pump she doesn't want and doesn't need.
I want you to get ready to call the police if he doesn't leave. I'm in the middle of a workday, and now I feel this. I don't care if I qualify.
I know, if you just...
I'm happy with everything that I have, and you're still trying to sell me something.
That's all you need.
She kicks him out, but worries many others buy in.
See, a lot of times these don't be technicians, these be salesmen, but I don't know what that was about there.
We're taking a train to Cornwall, Ontario, to meet a woman who wishes she too had said no. A few months ago, Karen Norgard signs up to rent this furnace for the next 10 years.
I was told that it was going to save me a lot on gas.
But Karen
Good.
hasn't seen those savings.
I'm curious what else we can find.
It's a good one,
What I'm
90%.
looking for is see if we can find the serial number.
What we know for sure, she's paying more than $12,000
Now, it tripped me out with the lady with the screwdriver. Now, she's taking it out. They're getting the modern serial number.
including installation.
So when you're ready, read it up to me.
But how much is her furnace worth?
It's a capital G, M, E.
Oh, now look what they trying to do. Now, this not right here. It sounds like they charge $12,000 for this 90% furnace to have it installed. Now, that sounds like a good price, but some homeowner customer do this. Now they finna go Google, because Goodman, you can buy it online. I think you probably go to Amazon or any kind of website, and the customer can buy Goodman. Like Train and Carrier, you cannot buy, a customer can't buy it. You have to be a licensed contractor. But it look like they finna go online. I could be wrong, but look like they about to go online and see how much it costs.
This furnace is worth about $1,800.
No.
You see what I'm saying? That's not right. So, nah. And you see how this lady, okay, the furnace worth $1,800. That's just the furnace alone. You got to hook up all this PVC pipe, 2-inch PVC pipe. It's expensive. Come on now. Now I'm with the company on this. They need to clarify that.
No!
So I guess you're supposed to pay $1,800 for it. Come on now.
$1,800?
$1,800, and you're going to be paying more than $12,000 over the course of the...
Yeah, I mean, what you gotta have it installed, you gotta have her old one taken out. Ain't no telling what she had in there before that. I heard they say, oh yeah, you do got gas. She probably had oil or anything in there before that. Ain't no telling what the company had to do to, come on. All right, let's get this straight. I am a licensed HVAC contractor for the record. If anybody watching this video and haven't watched my previous video, I started as a technician, worked my way up to supervisor. Then I eventually went out on my own when I got my contractor license. So I am qualified to review this. It's not right. I am a business owner. So even if she was to pay herself the $1,800, because I don't do this and I do not recommend doing this, but I have installed equipment where a customer purchase online themselves. I did that my first year. I never do it again. But anyway, let's go ahead.
This contract?
It makes me want to cry.
I've been investigating HVAC scams for years.
Yeah, and they not even clarifying that for her. Okay, she paid $12,000, then she probably had it financed. Because I mean, if she was probably paying a cash payment, she probably could have got it a little cheaper for $10,000 maybe. You know, but she financed it because I think she just said she got to pay it for over a certain amount of years. I mean, that's a good price to me. Okay.
I didn't realize it was a contract.
And across the industry, these rental contracts often cost thousands more than what the equipment and installation are worth.
There are thousands of complaints about these kinds of contracts.
One name that keeps coming up is Ontario Green Savings.
Okay, so this is the company that we've been hearing about.
That's who Karen Norgard signed up with, and who we've called to our test house.
Free in-home assessment registration.
Ontario Green Savings is facing dozens of charges under Ontario's Consumer Protection Act. And so is its CEO.
You're only as good as your results.
Saeed Torbati makes motivational videos like this and calls himself a serial entrepreneur with a long list of businesses.
Nobody really cares about your reasons or excuses.
He and his company stand accused of failure to provide refunds owed, failure to deliver a valid contract, and many charges of false and misleading practices.
You talked a lot about cost savings. Have you seen any of those savings?
No, I haven't.
Back in Cornwall, Karen is told by Ontario Green Savings that she needs a new air conditioner because hers uses Freon. Not true.
I went on the internet and said, okay, what do I have in here? The exact same coolant was in my old air conditioner that they were installing in my new air conditioner.
And so no Freon?
No.
Karen manages.
See, these folks are completely lost. And some contractor, even the guy that should have educated this lady right here, seemed like it. Because she's saying that now her system, what cooling system? I don't know if they made a cooling system yet that doesn't take Freon unless you got a ceiling fan. But she probably had R22 and they converted to 410A. Because she's saying the exact same, refrigerant, but different kinds of refrigerant. You know.
Is to get out of that deal, but is stuck with the furnace she also signed up for.
What was it about these conversations with the initial salesperson and the manager that convinced you to sign up?
They kept saying over and over and over again how much it was going to save me money.
You trusted him at this point?
Of course I did, because I thought it was a government program.
What gave you the impression that it was a government program?
The name, first of all, Ontario Green Savings, sounds very much like...
I would like to ask, because I know they're probably not going to ask, but I would like to ask her, how much do she think she should have paid for it? What's she going to say, the $1,800 or $2,000?
They didn't say the government, but everything was implied that way.
It was tailored like that.
And ma'am, if you're watching my reaction video on this, I mean, I just wish you would have got better clarification. You know, I wish you would have got better clarification. That's all.
It was meant to be that way.
Blake should know.
I mean, I was telling them on the phone that it was a government program.
He used to work for Ontario Green Savings in this Ottawa call center.
You know, I believed it was a government program.
Blake says he thought he was sending technicians to qualify people for government rebates.
My job was to pre-qualify people on whether or not they were able to get these rebates based on the energy efficiency of their systems.
But he soon suspects it's just a ploy to get salespeople in the door.
Regardless of whatever sort of system they had, it could be like, you know, it could be
All right, folks. So I do kind of apologize. I thought this was going to be more of a technician scam video, but it seems like it's more of a... this first company don't seem like they scammed this lady to me, to be honest with you. Like I say, lady, if you're watching this, I just hope you would have got more clarification of what you got. I had ran into a problem like that one time. My first year on a commercial property. They had a kitchen. It's an African restaurant. Actually, I still serve the people today. I maintenance their unit, but we had a miscommunication. It wasn't necessarily a language barrier, but they didn't know. They almost like this lady here in the interview. They don't have a clue about HVAC. So originally in the kitchen of this commercial property, I installed a 5-ton unit. Originally they had a 5-ton and they had a 3-ton. Okay. So we wanted to get 2 more tons into the space. So I was going to replace the 3-ton and install a 5-ton, which I did. And I'm speaking to the homeowner. I mean the one that owns the property. And he come back to me. He was like, "Hey man, where's my other air conditioner? My 3-ton unit." We had to snatch that out in order to, cause I only quoted like $6,000 to install. That's when I just started to install the 5-ton unit for him on a commercial property. So I installed a 5-ton, but he was wondering where his 3-ton at, his existing unit, and we just did a direct replacement. We didn't install ductwork or anything like that, but he thought that he was gonna have the 5-ton, the 3-ton, and another 5-ton. No, that wasn't the case. We were replacing your 5-ton unit. I mean your 3-ton unit and putting the 5-ton unit. Hope I ain't confusing. I probably confused them too, but anyway, but it was written down. Replace existing 3-ton unit and put a 5-ton unit in there. But he thought that he was gonna have 3 units. I'm like, no sir. We could have done that, but I mean, we got to run new refrigerant lines. We got to run new duct work. We got to put new drain pans, and we had to hang this thing from a ceiling. You know, you're gonna pay way more than $6,000 if we were gonna put you a new unit up in there. So I guess that's where the communication try to break down. And a lot of my customers, though, when I do something, they do understand it because I do take the time and try to simplify and try to break it down to them. But sometimes I do have that miscommunication because, like I say, when we in this industry right here, there's technicians in this industry that been in this industry 5-10 years and can't figure this stuff out. You know what I mean? So how can we explain some of this stuff to a homeowner in 30 minutes or an hour and expect for them to get it? Because it took me a couple years before the light bulb just switched on my troubleshooting skill, and for me to just understand all this stuff. I didn't know what refrigerant was, so I can't expect them to know what refrigerant was. But I'm sure whatever industry they in, I don't know what they do. You know what I mean? She like this journalism stuff she doing, you know. But she should do a little better research in her journalism. I know that. Know a little bit of something about it, do a little homework about it. But let me continue.
A year old, it could be 20 years old. It didn't matter. They would tell you that you pre-qualified. It was a theater, basically.
Theater complete with a script and answers answers to any consumer objections. This one was leaked to us by a call center employee working for Ontario Green Savings. Question: do I have to do this? Answer: well, the government raised the efficiency standards in 2020, so we have to make sure everyone is meeting the new standards. In truth, there are no new standards, and Ontario Green Savings wasn't authorized to enforce any. This former employee remembers the scripts well.
I'd make between 200 250 calls a day.
Because he's willing to name names and fears legal action, we've agreed to hide his identity.
What did you tell these people they were signing up for?
I told them that they had signed up for this thermostat rebate. They told us to make them sort of think that they applied with us, even though they didn't necessarily sign up with us.
So you were told to lie?
Yes, pretty much.
By whom?
By Axel Hermosa, one of the managers.
He began to think this whole thing was a scam, he says, when he learned how much his managers were making.
Axel, for example, he would post his checks on his Instagram story.
So these are a couple posts from the Instagram account that we're talking about. What impression did they give you?
Well, I mean, $22,000, another week of commissions, right? And that's just Axel's check, which is kind of absurd. He's doing dishonest work and getting this much money out of it. I don't like that.
Back at our test house, guess who shows up?
Your name is Axel?
Axel.
Cool name.
It's the same guy our insider was talking about.
Up downstairs and
I'm gonna pause it right there, because like I say, this video, I guess Ontario, that's in Canada somewhere. This video, I clicked on it this morning. It's still early in the morning. I thought this more of a technician style video. This more of a salesman. So be alarmed if somebody walking you dressed like that. You know, they definitely come here they're not trying to fix anything. He don't even have a tool bag, anything on him. So, but I think this more of they calling the people because they trying to actually save, and these salesmen calling them on the phone or something like that. So I do not have any expertise, so I do apologize. I don't have a lot of expertise in the energy sales savings department. You know, like I said, I just clicked on the video. This is gonna be a reaction video, but so I'm not gonna probably finish it because 8:49 into it, and it's 22 minutes left, so I'm not gonna watch the whole thing. We can see what the old boy right here gonna do. But look like he just coming here trying to sell anything. So like I say, I apologize, but even these people right here, if they like say your rewards come in exact proportion of your service, even if they was coming and being honest, some people, you know, want to save, but if they were just doing their job the correct way, you know, they can be successful also. So let's see what he got to say.
see what we can do for you.
Remember, Axel is here to assess equipment that our expert says is perfectly fine. So what's he gonna tell us? I listen upstairs as our producer, Katie, leads Axel down the basement.
So it's an old lifting tank.
He spends less than a few minutes on his inspection, unlike the half hour our expert took.
It's a good unit. It's a Prestige series.
Axel says our furnace is fine, but zeroes in on the water tank and a sticker that says it's 10 years old.
2011, 10 years old. It's still on the rental.
He wastes no time getting to the south.
If I could get you qualified, get it updated, it didn't cost you any money, that would obviously make sense for you.
We go back upstairs to hear his pitch.
It obviously looks like a no-brainer.
Out of the blue, Axel tells us our water tank is in urgent need of replacement.
It's ticketed, so you have to get it replaced within the next 6 days.
What does that mean, ticketed?
Ticketed, so like so I'm a licensed contractor, so if anything happens, I'm liable. I've seen the tank. So I've informed you that your tank is 10 years old and it has to get replaced.
Remember, just hours earlier, our
See what I'm saying? So is that easy? Come on, you can't fall for stuff like this. Just because my unit can be 30 years old, especially, and we so-called call her a helicopter. She just went down there with him, seemed like it, or it seemed like he wanted to, but he didn't do it. He didn't have a tool bag. So what kind of inspection is that? You got to tell me I got 6 days to replace my unit? And it seemed like she was just calling him for inspection, see how she can save on energy. So that's why I say you can make a lot of money into this, but you don't have to do it like this, you know.
Expert tells us the water heater
When it comes time to replace their unit or it start leaking or something, they'll call you.
is fine.
If someone comes in today and says, you need to replace this, what would you say?
Ask why. Because I ran it through a cycle, everything's fine.
But Axel says we have just 6 days to get a new tank, or else.
Home insurance doesn't cover that.
Really?
Over 10 years, you're on your own for a water heater.
In truth, he has no idea what our insurance says. And most companies we contact afterwards say water tanks are covered well.
That's probably his sales tactic. He's telling her, since it's not covered under insurance, since it's 10 years old, if it do rust and the water leaks out, she could potentially have to cover that cost on her own. That's what he's trying to convince her. Oh, I see he got a Nest certified professional. He's trying to sell them Nest thermostat too. But I think they more trying to run a scam on their government though. Cause he was saying like, he was asking the homeowner, telling the homeowner, you don't have anything to lose. So that's probably why they're getting them $22,000 checks, getting it from the government. Having the homeowner sign up, they probably getting type of rebates, commission.
Well over 10 years.
The furnace can get damaged, the floors and belongings you have down there.
Over the course of an hour, Axel offers other questionable bits of information. He tells us his competitors actually work for Ontario Green Savings.
So Ontario Green Savings is an umbrella. All the companies register underneath us to pick up the installations.
And he says by paying $50 a month more than what we're paying now.
Yeah, and these guys right here, that's what they do too. He ain't about to install no equipment. You can tell he probably don't know nothing about troubleshooting. He still ain't brought no tool bag up in here. I mean, he ain't got no quarter, no 5/16 to open nothing up. No meter. You know, so all he want to do is make that sale, get it to sign these papers, and they gonna hire another company to come and install it.
Now, we'll actually save money.
At the end of the day, you'll be up $20 a month.
Really?
Yeah, savings will cover your extra costs and you'll be up $20 a month.
By the end, it becomes clear we're not going to sign on the spot. So Axel leaves us with some alarming advice.
Just be careful, don't let it get too drunk and like bump into the tank, like they're fragile once they get old. So like if you knock into it, it might just like
Burst?
yeah, honestly, it's
Really?
yeah, not your
Jeez.
We catch up with our HVAC expert, Ron Muntz, at Centennial College, where he teaches.
I want to show you some video of a salesperson that came in and what he said about that exact same unit.
Okay.
Either way, I've seen the tank. It's ticketed, so you have to get it replaced within the next 6 days.
So you heard him say that it's on its last legs. Is it fair for him to make that jump?
No, it's not reasonable. The tank was operating fine, so it didn't need a new tank.
All right, HVAC people. Hey, I hope y'all enjoyed watching that. That was just something new. Hey, if y'all like that, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. Matter of fact, I'm gonna do a tool review. Got a tool review coming your way. I really need to do this now. Hopefully I can try to find a way to, it's a smart meter. Maybe I'll make, give it to one of my subscribers. So tune in. We're gonna do a tool review on the smart meter, digital smart meter that they gave to the channel. Shout out to, I can't even pronounce it, Kai Sweets, but it's a smart meter. So I'll do a review on this. But anyway, hope y'all like it. Thanks for watching. Remember, service, service, service. Serve the people, and we'll get the rewards. Like I say, we ain't worried about no instant gratification. It's gonna come. It has to. That's just law of the universe. We're gonna reap what we sow.